record follow-up from the crazy weekend. So, hey guys, I know there's going to be a couple other girls hopping off and on. And so I am super excited. Let me fix my view. What is the best view that you guys like to do? Oh, that's weird. Okay. I don't know which view is the best. How about that? Speaker view. I'm not real sure. We're going to record it this way. So, welcome, Jodi.
Hey, how are you, honey?
Good. I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for asking me.
Yes, we talk often, but it's fun to actually see your face. Yeah. I love Zoom. It's one of my favorite things. Okay, so we are going to talk. We're going to hop on because, Stephanie hopped on. Stephanie, on the bottom left of your screen, if you want to, you can hit start video if you want to, and then we can see your cute face. And so, okay, so we're going to hop in and get started because the idea of these is that we would just chat really quickly about a specific topic that's really going to help you in your business, but really we want to loop in some new people to our teams, ladies that I personally love and learn from all the time, but you guys may not necessarily know. So this is Jodi Brougher, and she's down here on my screen. I'm feeling like the, what's the Brady Bunch. Yeah, the Brady Bunch. And so Jodi is up in Somerset, Pennsylvania, which is a tiny, tiny town. Her and her husband run a local produce, like major operation. And so the source of all of the yummy food that's coming fresh to the people there in Somerset. And so she has a tiny, 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 tiny town that she operates her business out of, and yet she is insanely successful. So Jodi, introduce yourself, how long you've been a stylist, where you live, how many people live there, and all the good things about you. Let us know.
Oh, the good things about me. Actually, I have been, I live in Somerset, Pennsylvania, and it's very, for the longest time, no one ever knew where Somerset was. And then Flight 93 went down. And when Flight 93 went down, it put Somerset on the map because that happened here in Somerset County. So after that, it was very easy for me to tell everybody where we lived. Somerset proper is 6,000 people. And my husband and I own a market that has been here on Main Street for 100 years. This is our 100th year anniversary. And I always talk about that during my group hello. And I always say to people, yes, it's really cool that we've been here for 100 years, but what I want you to be impressed with is that I have gone to work every day with my husband for 31 of those years. So Him and I go to work together every day for better or for worse, and depending on whatever day it is, it could be for better or for worse. And that's what we do. And so it was a great way to raise our family. I have 2 sons, and it was a great way to raise our family because we were able to keep the boys with us here. Some days, again, that was sketchy too, but we went through it, and it was just nice to always be together with our family. So I've been very, very blessed. And I've been a stylist for 4.5 years and literally stumbled across the Stella Dot catalog. Literally stumbled across one and had no clue what it was. And I have a girl that's worked here with me in my office for years, and she was like, we got to get this stuff. We got to get this stuff. And so that's what we did. We ordered it and found out. I didn't even understand the concept of Stella Dot when I did it, to be totally honest with you. So, yeah.
And okay, so tell me so your career rank is a
star stylist. I'm hoping the stars are starting to align for me. And my goal is to hit associate director, hopefully by the holiday. And things are starting to come together a little bit, which I'm really excited about.
And Jodi is a maven, so she has been working her tail off. And in fact, what were your sales last month?
Well, last month was not my best month, Callie. So
I know, it's bad. What is it?
Just a couple pennies under 8,800, but that was one of my lower months. So don't want to talk about August. I'm like anxious for August to be gone.
So she sold over almost $9,000 in August, and that is a low month for her, right? Because generally speaking, your monthly sales average what, Jodi?
About 10,000. I try to hit 10,000 every month. I just feel better at 10,000.
Okay, so like for me, that's like holy moly, which is one reason I wanted her to be on here. So I talked to Jodi, and one of the things that I asked her about, and I'm going to kind of go back through our notes because I wanted to kind of go through. So that $10,000 in sales that you're getting a month, Jodi, how many trunk shows would you say you're having versus how much you're doing online?
Well, that's hard, Callie. I would say I try to do a minimum of 4 to 5 trunk shows a month. I just feel really comfortable around that, but I have a very good VIP group, and they're really good to me, and I try to take very good care of them, and consequently it's a reciprocal relationship. So probably, but I, definitely 6,000 of 10 comes from shows. I rarely have a show that comes in under 1,000.
Okay. I also heard a rumor, and this was not on our notes, so sorry, but I heard a rumor that you really believe, like, you don't do very many sample sales. You give your samples.
I've never ever done a sample sale. I don't believe in them.
You give all of your samples away through your VIP page.
I give them away through my VIP page, or I also have people who I strategically dress. I have 2 daughters-in-law that are very well known and seen. The girl that works here in the office is somebody that people know very well. I make sure that those samples are on people who are out and about and being seen, and people who I think that they are being style followers here in our community. And so I make sure, like if Cindy walks into the office and she's carrying a purse that's been retired, she just groaned. She's sitting off to my right. Yeah, that's a no. Because she will tell me when she comes in on a Monday morning, she'll say, I had this bag in church yesterday, and I have like 5 people who are interested in this bag, or everybody was all about my necklace, or whatever. And so those people, so that's a strategic way for me to make sure that my samples are working for me. They do nothing for us laying in a bag. They need to be seen.
Oh, I love that. So you take people who you love and you would just want to spoil them and say, I want you to wear this bag, I want you to carry this bag, I want you to wear these earrings. And when somebody asks you about it, send them my way.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And you do that on your VIP page too. Like, I know that you give away a lot of free product on your VIP page, which
stop and think about it. I mean, most of us that once you get to a certain level as a stylist, we're really not paying for those samples. So it's not cash out. I mean, we're earning product credit, and we're earning different things and different options and opportunities. So it's not my money that I have to turn back around. It was already bought and paid for, through credits or whatever. So if I don't need to do that, then I'm creating that world in which my customers are very happy. I just was in a situation, well, this was a little while ago, where I was at a show and I knew that a lady ran our local Christian camp. They work for love, is what they work for. And she fell in love with a pair of earrings that were a retired piece that I knew I was going to be pulling off of them. It was something she loved, and I knew that it was out of her price range. And before the night was over, I just quietly slipped them into her hand and said, I want you to enjoy these. That meant the world to her. That didn't cost me a penny. That was a way of giving back, joy to someone whose every day of their life is about serving others. So why not be able to do that? We just recently had somebody who their home burned. Those are opportunities to turn something back into a gift that creates loyalty, and loyalty goes a long way in this business.
Oh my gosh, you guys, Jodi has built a culture in Somerset and on her VIP page, and that is why people love her so much, because Stella Dot for her is not just a product, it really is a lifestyle that she has created. And so people come to her, like, they know her as the girl that they want to go to when they need XYZ. So what she's saying is giving all of that, not that she does it so that it comes back, but that instead it creates this culture. And I love that about you. And you're obviously seeing the reward, the benefits of that. Right.
Absolutely. Customers are incredibly loyal. Absolutely they are. Yeah.
I love that.
Incredibly loyal.
And maybe, if you guys are interested in that, or y'all want questions, y'all can ask about how she runs her VIP page. Just jot down questions or whatnot. But let's move on to the actual trunk show. So you said that more than half of your sales are coming from in-home trunk shows. And when I asked you the other day, because I was working on a booking list for our team, and I was working on booking, and I said, gosh, Jodi, how much time do you actually spend? Because you're doing, you're selling $10,000 a month. How much time are you spending every month booking trunk shows. And what was your answer?
Well, I always book at shows, so I'm not spending my time doing that. I keep my pipeline full all the time. I rarely leave a show that I haven't booked in a minimum of 2. I have a few rules, and we'll talk about those, but I don't struggle to have my pipeline. I never have.
Oh my gosh, like mind blown. So then my next question is, what are you doing at those trunk shows that you are getting those dates on the calendar? So what's happening at that trunk show?
Okay, I have a very specific formula, and I believe some very specific things. First off,
you have a system. That's what I'm hearing first.
Absolutely. So I believe in a couple things. First and foremost, when you arrive at a trunk show, you are the common denominator, okay? You think about it, the stylist is invited, couple friends from work, couple family members, couple neighbors, and they may or may not know each other. You are the common denominator there. Therefore, it is your responsibility that no person get left behind. Everybody has to feel included. Everybody has to feel a part of everything. I will not, even the crankiest, most offstanding person at that show, I will have gone over. I will have said hello. I will introduce myself. Even if I know they don't want me, I will do that. And then if they choose to push me aside, and those people exist, we all encounter them, but I will make sure that that happens. I will be the common denominator in that room so that everybody feels a part of the party. And I think that's the first thing. So you take the awkwardness out of it. We've all been in that circumstance where you felt weird. It felt strange. My goal is when I leave a show, I'm exhausted from the floor show that I just put on of making sure that everyone is there and everybody feels, because if everyone had a good time, it's easy to convince people to do this in their house. If you were awkward and you felt like nobody was paying attention to you, whatever, you're not going to sign up for that, right?
Oh.
The other thing I wholeheartedly believe is before anybody goes to a Stella Dot show, they picked the $39 bracelet they're going to buy. They already picked it out. They went on the website, they looked in a catalog, they picked the $39 bracelet to buy, because that, with shipping and tax and all that gets them about $50, and that fulfills a friend obligation. So they already picked it. So they showed up with that in mind. I waste zero space on my table with sparkle studs, wishing bracelets, poofs. They do not exist on my display. When I get up and I do my group hello, my job is to get your mind off of that $39 bracelet that you showed up to buy and make you fall in love with a $139 getaway or a $159 vacay. Or I'm not going to throw in the covet stuff. I don't sell a lot of the covet necklaces. I mean, about as many as anybody else does. But my goal is to show you something and get you to go from that $39 bracelet that you thought you wanted to needing to leave with a $139 getaway. And it must work, because I just did a show last week and 4 women bought getaways at the show. So I'm not going to stand there and they can all find the $19 sparkle studs themselves. They don't need my help at all. They need my help being in love with a covet Kensington tote, a vacay, a getaway. And once I've created that and they all fall in, and they're all talking about it, and they're all talking about their friends, then my standard line is, look, I get that you did maybe not come to your friend Callie's living room tonight to spend $139. I totally get that. I totally get that. So you just come see me. We'll get you that $139 bag free. I gotcha. Don't be sitting there worrying about how you're going to pay for a $139 bag that you just fell in love with. I got you. And that's how I book.
So you say that
you have those
hello.
In my group hello. Or like right as I'm done, like after I've shown the getaway and I've shown all the things and I've created the atmosphere in which they're in love with that and they want it.
Sure.
Now I circle back and say, now I'm going to take the pressure off. Okay. If you really can't afford a $139 bag, and I get that, and you really didn't plan on that expenditure tonight, I gotcha.
Yeah.
And some women just are going to spend the $139 and be done with it because they're not going to host. I mean, we just know that they're not going to host. But there are those people for which that's a possibility.
So you say that in your group hello, and then you go on about styling people and you're talking to people, and so then all those ladies are coming through you at checkout chat. So you've said it in the large group. What do you say to them when they're checking out? And it's like the one girl where you saw like stars in her eyes when she wanted that getaway bag, but at checkout she's buying the wishing bracelet.
Well, she's the girl that you want. She's the girl you can book with, because she really did fall in love, and she really can only afford the $19 bracelet. But to everybody across the board, my standard line is, can I get you to do a show? And there's always a pause. There's always a pause after, can I get you to do a show? Okay, because there's rarely that person who goes, yes, I want to do a show, or comes straight up to you and says, hey, I want to book a show. It happens, but not that often. So they'll say, I'll say to them, can I get you to do a show? And there's the pause. And I reach out and I put my hand on their arm and I say, let me just assure you, no one has ever died doing a Stella Dot Show. And I say that like totally dead serious. I've never had. Now I'll look around and I'll say, the night is young, but everybody here looks pretty good. And I think we're going to make it tonight too. And trust me, no one has ever died. So what has happened is you've brought in humor. Humor brings down walls. The minute they giggle, the minute they laugh, the minute that then they go, well, I don't think anybody will come. I mean, we've all heard all the objections, right? We've all heard them all. And then I always say, trust me, my hostesses do very, very well. And then I usually quote my last 2 or 3 hostesses, how much money they got.
Yeah.
You just get me a couple people. I do all the work. You don't worry about anything else. What do you think? Bottle of wine, couple cheese and crackers, and we got this.
Okay, so you're handling, what I love about this is that you're getting an immediate yes or no. You're handling those objections on the spot. So there's none of this text, let me wait 3 or 4 days, text back, let me do a follow-up.
Because those people are no's.
Yeah, when you leave that night, you're like, okay, I got this girl. I'm just going to firm up a date with her. Or you've already firmed up a date with her, but like.
They can't think about it. They leave with a hostess packet too. The minute that they put that toe over the line, I'm in my bag pulling out a hostess packet and hand it to them, and they're committed. No, because if they walk away and go, oh, maybe you're going to work way too hard for that. I don't have that kind of time.
You're right, because then you're doing, the first follow-up, the 48-hour follow-up, the 1-week follow-up, and how many of us have gotten bogged down in all of that? I mean, we just did a booking blitz on our team, and I mean, I get it. There are times when I'm like, oh, shoot, I only have 3 trunk shows that I need to go work for maybe 3 more. But when you're sitting at a goose egg, it feels overwhelming. But what if you already, I love it because you're already there. You're already there, so why not? And do you ask every single person?
Yeah. I may not ask the grandmother who's in a wheelchair, but let's be for real. I may not ask the 14-year-old. But yeah, I do. And it's we always look around. We're all guilty of this. I can only see 3 of you, but I guarantee we're all guilty of this. We're all guilty of prejudging every person that's there, right? The lady that's dripping in jewelry is the one we figure, oh, she's the one. She's the one that's going to book. Or the lady that shows up in that doesn't look like she's got any jewelry, doesn't look the least bit interested. Like, we just assume. We make all these assumptions. And I learned a long time ago, that is the biggest mistake. Make no assumptions. So I'm asking everyone. And some people are like, no. Boom, no.
Sure.
And I let them go. Of course, no. And I'm totally fine with that. I don't talk anyone into anything. But if you put a toe over my line, I'm going to pull you on over.
Yep. And that's what you're so good at. I think bringing humor into it, not making it this awkward, sterile conversation because if you project that awkwardness, they're going to be like, well, I don't want you in my home. You're awkward. Right?
Well, you didn't make everybody feel good. They know if their friends are having fun, there's always a wallflower. I mean, there's always that person that no matter what, but that happens. I mean, you can't. You can't fix that. My mother always said, there are some people, if you gave them $1 million, they'll complain about the color. You just got to let it go, let that be. But everybody else, if they're starting to have fun, even the wallflower will begin to feel more confident.
Right. So you have your calendar there. Do you actually look at your calendar and put a date, put their name on a calendar if they're ready to set a date?
Yeah, I'm like, hey, I got September 17th and I got September 19th. And if you can't get into that week, how about we look at the 26th? Because I used to, when I first started this, I would be like, I thought what I had to do was be way open. Just give everybody all the dates, whatever. No. You got to bring it in. You got to set dates. You got to ask for specifics, because that's what will get people to sign. You can't let it be so broad. They'll never make a decision.
So if they're saying, okay, well, yes, I want to go home and check my calendar.
Here's what I do. Here's how I deal with that. When they say, I can go home and check my calendar, I'll say, well, let's do this, because my calendar fills up really quickly. Let me put you down for September 19th. And what I'm going to do is in my date, I'm going to give you this hostess packet. And then on my date, I'm going to put it in as like midnight. That's where the show will be. So you're going to get an email saying that you got a show booked on the 19th. Don't panic. Doesn't mean at midnight on the 19th I'm showed up at your house. We're good. And I'm going to reach out to you tomorrow or the next day, and let's either go with the 19th or see if we need to do it like on the 20th or the 21st.
So you're just putting a placeholder there for them. That way they're getting
a reminder. It's a reminder to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need a reminder to reach out to those people.
I love that. So you're booking it at midnight. They're getting that hostess email that's like, thanks for hosting. That you're going home with the hostess packet. You're following up and be like,
so they're committed now. Yeah. They're going to have to call me and say, and they do. I mean, everybody has, I mean, life is for real. So sometimes people have to cancel, but I don't have very many that cancel. I do. Oh, very, very low cancellation rate.
You guys, I love this, right? It's so fantastic. Okay. Jodi, thank you. Anyone have a question about her processes or what she is doing? You may have to, I'm going to unmute everybody so that you can ask a question. Does anyone have a question?
I have a question. I live in a small town too, so I have a lot of overlapping at trunk shows. And I guess, do you do a lot of shows in your small town, or do you travel out? Because like if there's a group of friends that comes to that trunk show, well, if one of them decides to host, then it's that same, a lot of times it's that same group that would, so how do you do that? Because they're like, oh, well, they just hosted, I can't host.
You know what? I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing. What I say to them when I have that happen, I'll say, okay, look, here's how we're going to do this. So all three of you are interested in doing a show, but that's great because we're getting different style September 5th. We're getting holiday stuff in October. And then your show, we're going to do you in November. And that gives everybody an opportunity to pick up what they didn't get at this show and to shop for holiday, for gifts. So, or, you know, I can also say to them, do you want to wait and do you want to be the one in January when it's snowing and blowing and everybody's looking for something fun to do? And, you know, and then I'll say to them, now I need all three of you to all promise, so I'm going to see you all at each other's shows, right? You know, and then we'll just all of you. And it just, that has worked for me. And yes, I mean, you're totally right. I do that. I do see that, Amy. I see many people who do crossover and do that. Now, just recently, for the longest time, I really struggled to sponsor. I have had a lot more luck sponsoring. So now what is starting to happen is I'm starting to see people that would have done shows with me. They're starting to do it with some of my other girls, but that's all good. That'll be fine. And I'm glad to see them picking those up.
Good question. Anyone else have a question for Jodi? The amazing Jodi Brougher.
Amy, one thing that I would mention to you that has worked for me is because I do live in a small town, and this is, Somerset is 45 minutes to our closest Target. So that's how far you have to go to find a shopping center. You say for you? Yeah. I'm sorry, say again?
I'm 45 minutes from a Target too, because I'm south of San Antonio in South Texas.
Right. So that's my situation too, is we're really, but I think that's an opportunity because my son and his wife live in Washington, D.C., and I can walk out their front door and straight into a Starbucks and straight into a Loft and straight into an Ann Taylor and straight into any department store that you can name. They don't need me. They wouldn't need me there. But when you live in such a small area like this, doesn't mean that people don't want what you're offering. So you're bringing it right to the doorstep. And I think that's what you capitalize on.
Okay.
I love it. Anyone else? Girls on the phone. You would have to unmute yourself, which is on the bottom. I'm trying to unmute some of you, but it looks like you've muted yourself, so I can't unmute you. Okay, well, if you have, question, anybody? Okay, if you have questions, you can always comment and tag Jodi on our team page, and I'm going to record this so that you guys can play it back and watch it. But thank you, Jodi Brougher. I love you so much, and I wish I could see you in person and we could have done this in person. But
I know. I hate that we only see each other like once a year, but we're going to see each other in February in Canada for the Maven thing.
Canada, February, and then again in Hawaii.
Hawaii, yeah.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much. This was like, I took notes. So I feel like I need to go process all my notes. Amy did too. Yes, exactly. So I love you. Thank you.
I'm here for any of you anytime. You can always tag me in the Starlight group, send me a private message, whatever. I I will help anyone with anything. Not a problem.
And she gives great life advice too. She'll talk you off any ledge. I've been on several. Okay.
Being old. All right,
Bye, y'all.
take care. Bye.
Thank you.